Hey folks, it's Rob, and welcome back to my series. Well, currently on the Dungeon Master's Rulebook from, you know, the 1983 Red Box set. Just get that out of the old box here. You may notice we have a little something on the side here. I recently picked up some of these from Zuccotti, um, which are basically kind of like old school dice. Now, notice, as I pointed out before, if you can see that in the contrast, first off, these are kind of lopped off. Now, you did sometimes find dice like this, but not in the actual ODD sets. And again, the numbers are in the points, which the old dice didn't usually do, in my experience, anyway. But it's like 650 for these set, and I thought we'd have fun filling it in at some point, but also it's just kind of like a nice inexpensive thing to stick in with my set, right? Uh, in a way, these old school plastic dice with the hard edges and kind of rough bits on them is actually kind of reminiscent of the stuff I used to remember buying back in the mid 80s. There was a dice shortage. I think I mentioned this story before, but I went to an aquarium, a pet supply store to buy dice basically by the pound that were reject dice that were sold as aquarium filler. Um, oh, one more in there. There we go. Each of these and not that I'm selling these or have a referral link to anything. Each of these has one of these in it. Retro random dice. Zuccotti, world's best retro random dice, made from heavy duty acrylic. These vivid and easy to read dice are designed and made exclusively by Zuccotti. We made these dice to stand out from all other dice in the way they feel in your hand, the way they roll, and how easy they are to read at any angle on your table. They come to you in the old school gaming tradition, uncleaned and uninked. Delivering our raw dice allows you to put the final touches and add your style to the most important gaming tool, the way it should be. Roll in good health. So, yeah. Um, Obviously, they're not going to be using these right now. I should at least fill them with crayon or ink them in some means, and I may want to polish them a bit. Um, this here is a similar item, but this is a set with crayon, little mini adventure, and again the full set of dice. Um, Finished product basically, right? But you are meant to be able to ink the dice yourself. Not the three sad onions. Gotta have that on there. For those of you like Ashens, he's still doing his thing after all these years. Uh, but all of that can be another time, another place. I also just got like, it's like I said, cheese. Look at it. uh, Dice Goblin. I know. I'm bad. I'm bad. I keep buying more dice all the time. It's terrible. Right. When last we left off, we were on the magic item subtables. And that means I'm going to need to roll some stuff. I have some sets to hand. My the heavy metal dice you see me using are currently being used to weigh down the Immortals box set to compress out dents and folds. So I have these resin dice here on my desk. I haven't even used these once yet. These are also from Zuccotti. These are finished product, right? They're fully polished, inked. These are ink silver instead of gold. They do that too. Why am I making this a Zuccotti commercial? Sorry, folks, but we're gonna need some dice to be able to roll some tables, right? Just as examples, because you wouldn't want to get through this without the full experience. I'm just going to pour out some dice here. There we go. And put that aside and get this other one out. There we go. Just so I have a couple sets immediately to hand. And, right, let's get started. Magic item subtables. So remember previously over here, there's a chance with treasure types of magic items, right? Even on personal treasure, the U and V treasure types are highly regarded because there's a possibility of not only high value wealth, right? Gold, platinum, jewelry. Notice that there are never any chances at gems on any of the carried drop monster treasure. But I feel free to exchange jewelry for gems. Okay? And you can break that up any way you want. But you can see there's a small chance of magic items, right? 2% on the U, 5% on the V for any one magic item. This is the side of the layer items over here. So, excuse me. Did not sleep well last night. I'm sorry. I wanted to get this out, get this done because I like doing this, and I want to make sure I keep the schedule. It's the 3rd anniversary of my mother's passing, and it was not on my mind until Google had Google Photos had the delightful habit of reminding me of my mother's death with a picture of the day. Well done. I love it. Anyhow. So, magic item subtables. If a magic item is present in treasure, you should find the exact item using the following 3-step process. So, 1. Roll percentage dice to find which subtable to use as given on the magic item type table, which is right here. 2. Find a subtable indicated and roll 1 to 20 to find the exact item. They'll be on the next page. 3. Read the explanation of the item given on the following pages. So we'll have a couple pages of magic item descriptions that may have to bleed into the following episode, just because that'll be a bit of reading. But first we need to get through the tables. So let's start by just rolling on the first chart here. Now we have to roll percentile. That means you're going to want your percentile dice. You're a modern gamer. You don't have to do this the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way was you had 2 different D10s, and you'd hopefully either have one at least inked different colors than the other one, or they were to be different color. In fact, I have coming to me a set from a top secret set, which is the old TSR top secret used percentile dice, and I believe it has 2 different colored D10s in it. I'll be able to show you in the future when I get it. But we don't need to roll that way. We can roll the modern way. And let's see, how well does this clear one show up on the camera? Actually, that shows up pretty good. All right. Yeah, okay, we'll use the new dice then, because they're kind of retro reminiscent, right? They're rainbow. Why not? We'll just do a couple of example rolls, and then I'm going to log them over here. Possibly slightly out of view. We'll see. And then, we'll roll through on the other charts. So, first roll is 59. So 59 on the chart is a potion. Okay. I'm going to leave a little space between in case we need to get into something. But that is a not 5. Sword. Yeah, that can get complicated. Please note, swords are 20% of this chart. Other weapons, like any other weapons, are 10% of this chart. And then armor and shields is another 10%. Potions are a full 25% of this chart. Scrolls are another 20% of the chart. Rings are very tight 5%. Wands, staves, and rods are a tight 5%. And then miscellaneous magic items are 5%. So they will be, if we're using this chart exclusively to populate our magic items, 4 times as uncommon as finding a sword. You will be awash in magic swords. You may want to curate your list at some point, but this is the rules as provided. So let's roll in our twice. I want some good examples. So we got another sword, because that is basically... Nope, no, it's 40. Sorry, I was reading that upside down. 4 zeros, armor, and shields. Okay, and then let's do, one more. So that is a 71. Nice distribution, actually. That's going to be a scroll. Okay, good. Let's move on to the next page. So, as you can see, the charts go on. Now, we had, first off, a potion. So let's go to the potions chart here. You roll a d20 for a determination, but it's not 20 items, right? You can see 1 to 4 is a potion of diminution. You'd think I would have practiced this before I started the video. Diminution. There we go. I got there. Yay! Okay. 5 to 6 ESP. That's extrasensory perception. That used to be a very popular thing in media at the time. 7 to 9 gaseous form. 10 to 12 growth. 3 to 16 is healing. So that's 13, 14, 15, and 16. So that's a 20%. 20% chance that any potion will be a healing potion, right? It's the most common kind of potion you'll be rolling up. 17, that's a 5% chance, is invisibility. 18 to 19 is levitation, and then a 20 is poison. Let's roll it. So we want to roll a d20. We got a 19. 19 is a potion of levitation. All right. So just so because I'll probably need to make the items and descriptions later. Levitation. Drinking this potion will have the same effects as a magic user spell, levitation. The user may move up or down in the air without any support. This potion does not enable the user to move side to side. The user could, however, levitate to a ceiling and move sideways by pushing or pulling. Motion up or down is at the rate of 60 feet per round. See the magic user spell, page 41 of the player's manual for more information. You could have the party member could also just be tethered to somebody else if you want them to be. They're in control of the levitation, so they can descend if they want to the ground. But it can be quite handy. It's not as handy as a healing potion. And again, as a dungeon master, you have the ability to make choices. We're just using the charts here for random generations. Okay? So, right now, we're going to put it over here. We got a potion of levitation. All right, let's roll a sword. So, here we have swords. As you can see, 1 to 8. So, that's a full 40% is a sword plus 1. 9 to 10, so that's 10% of the chance. Sword plus 1 plus 2 against lycanthropes. So that's a special subcase where the sword has additional capabilities against a certain monster type. 11 is a sword plus 1 plus 2 against spell users. Let's see, it's probably a more common category and broader. 12 to 13 is a sword plus 1 plus 3 against undead. That's a nice sword for a starting character. 14 to 15, +1, +3 against dragons. Probably a little harder for you to be making use of that, but that is nice. 16 is a sword +1 with a light spell you can cast once per day for the light spell. 17 to 19 is a 15% chance of a sword +1 that can also cast Cure Light Wounds once per day. Very handy. Very nice. And then on a 20, sword +2. Notice that the highest we see of any plus here is the +3, and in special circumstances only. A +2 is really nice. That's a 10% adjustment on your hit roll. Let's see what we get. Come on, no whammies. 13. That's a +1, +3 versus undead. Very nice. Now, at this stage, we don't have intelligent weapons or anything like that to deal with. So the sword generation can't get really, really weird, but trust me, it can. Armor and shields is the next thing we rolled, so we're going to move down here. Again, only certain items are on the chart here. So we have leather armor +1 is on a 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? A 20% chance. Any thing I rolled on this chart will be a leather armor +1. 5 to 9, chainmail +1. Again, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 25% chance, right? 10 to 11 for a plate mail armor +1. 10% chance. 12 to 17, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, right? That is a 30% chance of a shield +1. 18 to 19 is a shield +2. And then on a 20, chainmail armor and shield, which are both +1. You get a set. So, nothing here above a 2, and it's only the shield, it's a 2. No leather armor +2, +3, anything like that. Again, you'll see a much expanded magic item list in the compendium, in the encyclopedia. And obviously, if you have later sets, there are more magic items in those as well. But we're just sticking to the red box right now. So let's roll, and let's see what we get. 10. 10 is plate mail armor +1. Very nice for whatever fighter or cleric might be in the party. Now, our final magic item we rolled was a scroll. And here we have the scroll chart. The scroll chart's kind of interesting in that it doesn't just contain magic items. Starting out, 1 to 4 is a scroll of 1 spell, and you'll need to determine the spell afterwards, which will, I believe, is over here in the scroll description, right? We have a type of spell on scroll chart, and then level of spell on scroll, and it's a whole thing. We'll put that to the next time, I think. But 1 to 4, scroll of 1 spell. 5 to 7, scroll of 2 spells. 8, so 5% chance on this chart, scroll of 3 spells. Because we're rolling a d20. As much as people get excited about 1s and 20s, these are all equally possible, okay? This is a linear probability. You aren't combining any dice to get outcomes. So the straight up 5% chance, basically, of getting a scroll of 3 spells. Now, 9 to 10 is a curse. Curse scroll happens when you read the scroll, and that's a 10% chance that the scroll will be cursed, and it will curse the party member casting the spell. Sucks to be them, right? Protection from lycanthropes is the next one, 11 to 13, which is a protection item, right? It gives you a benefit against that particular monster type. 4 to 16 is protection from undead. Another very handy scroll. Then we move into the non-magical items. 17 to 18 is a treasure map, location of 1 to 4,000 gold piece value treasure, which I believe you should generate. 19 to 20 is a treasure map, location of 1 hidden magic item. So this magic item directs you to another magic item. But these are also great little hooks to get your party motivated to go somewhere, right? You'll need to generate the magic item that you want them to find. Maybe it's in some other with some other treasure or guarded. But let's roll it and let's see what we get on the scroll here. So that's a 3, right? 3 is scroll of 1 spell. So we're going to do the random generation right now since we're doing that. But we're going to just get in here. So I need a D6 for this subchart. No, I need a D4 for this subchart. Sorry. Okay, so on a 1, 25% chance you get a cleric spell. 2 to 4, magic user spell. So 75% chance this will be a magic user scroll. But I rolled a 1. I don't know if you can see that. It's pointing up 1. Okay? So that would be a cleric spell. You need to roll the level on the scroll. So 1 to 3, first level. 4 to 5, second level. On a 6, third level spell. 3 is a first level spell. So you would determine a spell off of either choose or randomly determine a spell off of the, cleric's first level spell chart. You can pretty readily roll that if you want to. I believe that chart is I think 12. No, I think cleric spells are shorter. I think. Hang on. I think it's like 12 items on the magic user spell, but I think clerically. I think I've skipped it. There she is. Yeah, 8 spells on the first level. So let's just quickly roll a d8, and that'll do us for that. There's my d8. That is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is light, right? Okay. So there were some just random generations off the charts. Let's fill out what we didn't read already here in the chart. In the other weapons, remember that was a 10% chance on the previous on the type of magic item determination. 1 to 4 is quantity of arrows plus 1. You get 10 plus 1 arrows. Each arrow is individually useful. You can determine whether or not arrows are recoverable in any given situation. I like to basically kind of give them a save to determine any given arrow is broken or not. But, you can also just be mean and say like they're expended. Up to you. 5 to 6 is an axe plus 1. 79 is a dagger plus 1. 10, dagger plus 2. 11 to 13 is a mace plus 1. Great for the cleric, right? And these are great for the magic user or a thief, if you want. 14 to 16 are quarrels plus 1. Now, quarrels, if you're not familiar with the word, that's functionally arrows for crossbows. Otherwise called bolts. You get 10 quarrels where you get 10 arrows. They're all plus 1. 17 is a sling plus 1, so that's very nice. That the things the sling itself is magical, so it imbues the projectiles to be a magic attack. Is usually how I would interpret it. And then 18 to 20 is a warhammer plus 1, which again is pretty great for your cleric. But everyone likes a plus 1 weapon, right? Magic is better than not magic usually. We did armor, and we did potions, and we did scrolls. Here we have rings. Now remember, these are a 5% chance on the grand chart. But 1 to 3 on your D20 is a ring of animal control. That's a 15% chance to get animal control ring. 4 to 8 is a ring of fire resistance, which it will, reduce damage caused from fire, which can be quite handy if you're out here trying to hunt dragons. 9 to 10 is invisibility, the old Bilbo favorite. 11 to 15 is protection +1. That is a always popular choice because it gives you 1 point better armor class. Also, I believe it improves your saving throws. 16 to 18 is water walking. So you can, do your own Jesus lizard act of walking on water. And then we have 19 to 20, weakness. Weakness is a cursed ring. Wands, staves, and rods, which again was like a 5% chance basically on the previous chart. 1 to 6, wand of enemy detection. 7 to 11, wand of magic detection. That is a very handy item for the party to have. Whenever they're wondering, is that magical? They can use that. 12 to 14 is a wand of paralyzation. So, you want to have all the fun of like attacking like a ghoul without being a ghoul? Hey, the wand of paralyzation is for you. 15 to 17 is a staff of healing. Never unuseful. 18, that's 18 only. Only thing on here, it's a single number, is the snake staff. And then 19 to 20 is a rod of cancellation, which can be quite potent, actually. Miscellaneous items. Now, these are some of the more fun stuff in the magic item charts, honestly. You have 1 to 2, which is a cursed item, Bag of Devouring. Even though it's cursed, if the party knows what it is, it can still be useful in certain ways. It's a great way to get rid of stuff. 3 to 5, the ever popular Bag of Holding. Everybody loves Bag of Holding. And for good reason. Something that will hold all your stuff without weighing anything. I wish I had that in my life. 6 is a crystal ball, the gypsy favorite, or, popular with certain fallen white wizards, right? 7 to 8 is an elven cloak. 9 to 10 is elven boots. 11, so single number item here again. So crystal ball and the gauntlets of ogre power are single number items. Gauntlets of ogre power are also very nice. 12 to 13 is helm of alignment changing, functionally a cursed item. 14 to 16, helm of telepathy. 17 to 18, medallion of ESP. That's the extrasensory perception again, being able to read minds. And 19 to 20, rope of climbing. It's a fairly utilitarian kind of magic item. Let's see. Yeah, we're about 30 minutes. So I'm going to continue on for a bit more. We'll finish out the page at least, right? So, explanation of magic items. Identifying magic items. Now, this is very important for play, especially when we don't have an analyze spell in this particular version of the game, although it is in the Cyclopedia. The only way to identify exactly what an item does is by testing it. That is, trying on the ring, sipping the potion, etc. If a retainer does the testing, the retainer will expect to keep the item. A high-level NPC magic user may be asked to identify an item, but will want money for a service in advance and may take several weeks, game time, not real time, to do it. It's harsh. There's no identify spell like you have in all the video games, right? Types of magic items. There are 2 basic types of magic items, permanent items, which are not used up, such as swords and armor, and temporary items, which are used either once, such as potions, or 1 charge at a time, such as wands. Yeah, that's the thing about wands, you'll use them up. They will be used up eventually. They only have so many uses. Possibly you can have rules for recharging your wands. Don't make that easy. Um, Using magic items. Any magic item must be properly used to have any effect. A magic shield will have no effect unless it is carried normally. A ring must be worn on a finger to get magical effect. Some permanent items are simply for protection. No concentration is required to use these items. Magic weapons also function automatically. So you don't need to do anything to have your ring of protection protect you. You just need to wear it, right? If you want it, if you use your magic sword, it works. You don't need to concern yourself with how do I, attack with bonus. No, it does it automatically. The only sword in the chart with anything you need to think about is the sword +1 with the Cure Light Wound ability, which you will need to willfully use, right? The actual healing effect. It won't just go off randomly when you pick up the sword. But you need to know it's there. You know, up to you as the DM how hard you want to make it so to identify things. Having someone in town who can identify things, perfectly fine. In the encyclopedia, there are magic items that can be used to actually identify items as well, and it can simplify things dramatically. The innkeeper in my town for my campaign has a slate that can be used to identify items, and he charges for the use of that service. So that's how I handle it, because if I'm handing out the treasure, I really want them to be able to use it. Not just be like, I don't. Now, if I want them to be guessing about it, I can do that. Obviously, I'm the DM. But most of the time, if I'm handing out treasure, I'm expecting them to use it or, benefit from it or taunt them with it and how they can't take it away with them. Either or. So, all temporary items are either consumed by drinking or eating or used by concentrating. If not consumed, the item must be held while the user concentrates. While using the item, the user may not move, cast a spell, or take any other action during that round. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to make the thing happen, right? Charges in magic items. Many temporary items have a limited number of uses. When the last charge is used, the item is no longer magical. It is not possible to find out how many charges an item has. Such items cannot be recharged. Now, that's the basic rules as written. I'm pretty sure that's adjusted later, but in this edition, they cannot be recharged. Again, your game, though. Do what you want. But, giving them a wand of enemy detection and it has an unknown number of uses is an interesting little aspect. Magic item descriptions. So first off, we get into swords. I'm pretty sure if you're in this video that you're familiar with what a sword is. But when a magic sword is used, the player adds the plus to both hit rolls and damage rolls. So, if the sword does, let's say you're using the not complicated damage rules, or it's a short sword or something like that, I'm going to roll a d6, right? First off, on your 2-hit roll, you get a +1, right? So, if you need a 7 on the die to hit, if you rolled a 6, you still hit, right? And then on the damage, right, we add 1 to the die roll, so 6 + 1. And you could, because these are melee weapons, you would also make your strength adjustments to these rolls. Several swords also have special adjustment, which was used only when fighting a special type of opponent. Normal weapons restrictions for character classes also apply to magic weapons. For example, a cleric cannot use a sword, so a cleric cannot use a magic sword either. Now, if you're varying your environment to allow what the cleric can do and is allowed to do, of course, this also applies in that case. But again, in this version of the game, clerics don't use edged weapons, so they don't get to use swords, so they can't use magic swords. 2 of the swords listed can cast cleric spells. That's the light and the cure light wounds. Refer to those spells to find the exact effect. Each effect can only be used once each adventure or day, right? So if your party camps, rests, right, and they and whether or not they successfully rest, because obviously like the sword doesn't rest, right? It doesn't need to meditate and restudy its spells like a magic user or a cleric does. So it will recover its ability whether or not the party's interrupted during their rest. But that's, per day. No meditating is needed to gain the spell casting ability. If you wish, you may add other spell abilities to swords using either cleric or magic user spells. So, it's up to you to freestyle that if you want to. You may select the size of sword. Most are normal swords, but short and two-handed swords may be found, or determine it randomly. And you can work it out for yourself how you want to randomly determine the size of a sword. But, yeah. If you want to have a sword that has, like, magic missile built into it, great. Just swap out that light spell one, right? Or the cure light wounds. Not a problem. Says so right here. But you need to make that decision yourself. It's not going to come up on the charts ever. Cursed swords. Any sword may be cursed. When the dice rolls indicate a sword is a treasure, roll 1d20 again. See, special secret rule here, not on the charts, right? If the result is a 1 to 3, a cursed sword should be placed instead. What do we get? Oh, well, not a cursed one for us. Okay. However, it will seem to be a normal magic sword, whatever type was first rolled, until used in deadly combat. At that time, the curse is revealed. You have fallen prey to my special plan. A cursed sword will cause the player to subtract 1 from all hit rolls and damage rolls when using that weapon, instead of giving a bonus. Once a cursed sword is used in battle, it may not be thrown away. If it is stolen or sold, the character is cursed with a desire to get it back. The character will always use that weapon when in battle. DM tell the player that this is what the character wants. No arguments. Only a high-level NPC, magic user, or cleric can help the character be rid of the curse, specifically with a remove curse spell, which you won't find in this particular volume of the game. After the curse is removed, the sword will become a normal magic sword of whatever type was rolled. So, yeah, unfortunate curse sword can happen, right? If you have the right kind of player, they'll see that as a role-playing challenge and a bit of fun. If you have a different kind of player, they're going to see that as you being mean to them. I don't know what to tell you if that's going to be what's going on your table, but usually if a player is cursed, that's a good hook for me for another adventure, right? Because they want to be uncursed. Other weapons. As with magic swords, the plus number is added to both hit rolls and damage rolls. And as with swords, any item may be cursed, though there is less of a chance with other weapons. Roll again d20, the result is 1 to 2, the item is cursed. Curse is handled in the same manner as the cursed sword. Normal weapon restrictions apply. Since a magic user cannot use a sling, a magic user cannot use a magical sling either. They're saying, again, in this version of the game, your magic user gets to use a dagger and nothing else. Personally, I've always felt like dagger and staff, at least, because, who hasn't seen a wizard with a staff? But definitely those who like the AD&D tradition have staves, darts, which aren't even described in this particular version of the game, but they're throwable weapon darts, basically. Daggers, of course. Some people allow their magic users to use swords. I usually avoid that. That's part of the intended balance of the game. As you saw, 20% of the magic items you find are supposed to be swords. Uh, armor. Armor comes in many shapes and sizes. The better the armor, the lower your AC number. Yep, in this version, yes. Magic armor and shields can lower the AC number even further, right? So a leather armor is normally AC 7, magic armor, AC 6, and it weighs 100 coins less. That's the nice thing about magic armor is that it is lighter weight. You don't have to worry about the weight of the freaking thing. Um, Chainmail, AC 5 normally, AC 4 when it's plus 1, right? 250 coins lighter, 25 pounds. Plate mail, normal AC 3. Magic armor AC for plus 1 is 2. 300 coins lighter. And then the shield, well, the shield is itself 1 point of armor class benefit, but with the plus, you add that plus onto the first one. So a plus 1 shield would be plus 2 benefit to your armor class. But it's only while you're actually wielding the shield, and generally I consider from the front, right? If the enemy is behind you, obviously the shield is not protecting you. Explanation of magic armor table. Normal AC is the AC of a character wearing normal armor of the type given. Magic AC is the AC of a character wearing magical armor of the type given. Encumbrance adjustment is the added amount the character can carry when wearing magical armor of the type given. In other words, magical chainmail weighs 250 coins less than non-magic chainmail armor. A shield plus 1 would lower the AC number 1 more. For example, a fighter in normal chainmail and shield would be AC 4. If a set of magic chainmail and shield were found, both plus 1, the AC would drop to 1 for the armor and 1 for the shield for a total AC of 2. If the plus 2 shield were used, the AC number would drop 1 more for a total of AC 1. Cursed armor, another possibility. Fun stuff always. Cursed armor. Armor and shields may be cursed. If you roll 1 to 8 when either is placed as treasure, the result of 1 indicates that the item is cursed. Well, not ours. Handle cursed armor in the same manner as a cursed swords. Cursed armor makes character easier to hit by plus 1. You may either select the size of armor found, most of which is human size, or determine it randomly. Again, you'll need to work out your own chart for determining that randomly if that's what you want to do. I think we're going to stop there because my throat is getting a little sore and it has been more than 40 minutes. So we'll carry on with this next time. But thank you very much for being here today. I really do appreciate you, joining me and your comments and, you know, everything that you do, honestly. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Goodbye.